What's it like representing new construction versus homes that are already standing?
What is the secret sauce of Sterling?
We like to say we're small but mighty with a big heart.
Oh, I love
And
that.
that's really one of our taglines.
That's nice.
Unlocking Saratoga's real estate secrets. Welcome to Selling Saratoga, a podcast about the real Saratoga real estate scene in one of the Northeast's hottest and fastest growing markets.
Our guests are going to gain insight on the best way to make real estate decisions, whether buying and selling and everything in between. I'm Helen Mastrian, Associate Broker with Hunt Real Estate in Saratoga Springs.
And I'm Noel McLaren, an Emmy Award-winning journalist and real estate enthusiast. Together, we have the keys to your future in Saratoga real estate. Welcome, everybody, back to Selling Saratoga. Today on the show, we have Sterling Real Estate Group, three lovely ladies from Sterling Real Estate Group, headed by Lisa Licata. Lisa,
Yes, hi.
welcome to the show.
Thank
Helen, I
you.
know that you have known Lisa for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yes. Yay, Lisa.
Go way back.
So welcome. And Lisa, I don't know if you all want to introduce yourself for our listeners, just so we can get acquainted. Lisa.
Okay, Lisa Licata here, Managing Broker for Sterling Real Estate Group.
I'm Mandy Kozlowski. I'm the Director of Marketing.
And I'm Nicole Pellegrini, and I'm the social media coordinator, as well as a licensed real estate agent.
As an amazing real estate group and well respected in the business, I know as a fellow agent that people who are in your group are so happy and so supported, and so I've done business with you guys, and I have my favorites at Sterling because it's just been such a great experience.
Yeah, it's Helen, I look at myself as Mama Bear,
Yes.
and when home inspectors or attorneys, even other agents will call and say, "Hey, I want to talk to you about so and so." I know it's a good call, and they're
Right.
just say your agents are so professional. We love working with them. So it's, thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
It really means a lot.
Well, and it's not always a smooth transaction,
Right.
not necessarily because of whatever the circumstances are.
Right.
But when you have somebody on the other side who's a professional, who's a human, who's caring, it makes all the difference in the world.
It sure does.
Yeah. So Lisa, tell us about the history of Sterling.
So good question. We're going to have to go back 25 years. That's when Sterling Homes was founded by Jeff Knox and Jeff Booth. Their vision and their mission was to tie our development arm to builders in the community and really offer brokerage services to these builders that did not have it. And now 4 years ago, we rebranded to Sterling Real Estate Group because in theory, we've always been a full service real estate company. But people thought Sterling Homes was a builder.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, they
Right.
did dabble in building. At one point, they're not. So that's kind of key, of
Okay.
where we're
Yeah,
going.
absolutely.
Full service new construction, multifamily investment properties, luxury properties, land development is key. And we'll talk a little bit later, but we're sliding into the modular world.
Okay.
Ooh,
Wow.
I can't wait to
Yeah.
hear about that
Yeah.
because especially in like an affordable housing crisis situation, I mean, this is helpful. I hear a lot of people, millennials and Gen Zers especially, talking about the modular homes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got a great program for affordable, really and truly. So we can touch on that a little
Excellent.
bit.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
All right. Have you been with Sterling from the
So
start?
I'm approaching 6 years.
Okay.
I came from another brokerage, and I had a client that I had brought to Jeff. We were looking at actually doing a modular. Way back then when he did not own the modular company, but he was on the sales part of it. And we were out walking land with the clients, and my clients had an objection, and I answered it. And they went off on their own, and Jeff said, "How come I've never tried to recruit you?" And I laughed, and I said, "You'll never get me."
Oh, wow.
Hard
we
to
are.
get.
So he was really, Jeff and Jeff, because they own New York Development Group, they couldn't focus 100% on the brokerage, and they knew they
Right.
had to give something up. So
Smart.
I sat down, I spoke with, Jeff. I had no intentions of leaving where I was, but you always talk because you never know.
Right.
And he said they were looking for a manager. And I laughed, and I said, "No, that is like nailing Jell-O to a tree." Because we're independent brokers. So
Yeah.
I got home, I had told my husband, he said, "What's wrong with you?" He goes, "You already do this." And I was like, "I don't know, and he's like, "Lisa, you already do it. Just do it. So I texted Jeff back and said, okay, maybe I said no too quick.
Right.
And we met again, and several times we met, and then I had to meet Jeff Booth, the other owner.
Okay.
And that I walked out, and a couple hours later they rolled an offer. And I got to tell you, the best move
Okay.
and one of the best decisions in my lifetime that I've ever made. Jeff and Jeff are phenomenal.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So they made you an offer you couldn't refuse. Here you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Here I am.
It actually sounds like a story of like, it's a meet cute, like, right?
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
how you met your
Right.
husband, but it was
Yeah.
how you met your
Yeah.
work, I guess, husbands, so to
Yeah.
speak.
So it's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
When I think of Sterling, me as somebody who is not actively involved as a professional in the real estate industry, I think new construction, because I know you do a lot in the capital region,
Yeah.
and I know that's where you have your roots, right? Why new construction today, now in today's real estate climate?
That's a good one. So, in today's market, there is no inventory, right? Helen, you know firsthand, agents are out with buyers. They are getting beat out in multiple offers, in some cases $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 over asking.
Right.
And they're getting beat out, waiving inspections, however they can get into a home. New construction, even before COVID hit, we saw the shift. People want to get into new construction. They can personalize their own home. Some of our builders are actually custom builders. So now they are building a home to their lifestyle. And there's a lot of different financing options when you get to new construction. Some are construction draws. There's, all different end loans. Builders are offering different, packages, and they can get into a home. They're not doing multiple offers on a home site, with that particular builder because we have so much inventory.
Right.
They can plan their life. They know they're going to have a house, however long it takes, and plan around it. And
Right.
it's so much easier.
Right.
That's a really good way of looking
Yeah.
at it, Helen. Yeah. You start from literally the bottom up.
The bottom up.
Why don't
that
you
we
talk
have.
about the neighborhoods that you have right now?
Okay, great. So in the Wilton corridor, we have Avalon Ridge with McPadden Builders represented by Rick Gargiulo. We're kind of in that corridor in Wilton. We have the Meadows at East Point with Pigliavento Builders represented by Carrie Loisel. We have Grand Highlands, also in that corridor with Trajansky Custom Builders represented by Sarah Trajansky. And within Grand Highlands in the back part of the cul-de-sac, we have Hannafin Builders represented by Angie Bosberg. So all great builders, and just a great area to be in. Let's move into Boston Spa Milton. We have Hunter Court by DeGraff Bloom Builders, represented by Krista Swistek, and we have Iron Springs. We are in our grand closeout there. That is Trajansky Custom Builders, represented by Carla Elvord and Sarah Trajansky. Clifton Park, Brook Court, DeGraff Bloom, represented by Laura Machat, and Edgewood Estates, DeGraff Bloom as well, represented by Krista Swistek. Now into Latham. Here we go.
Wow.
Meadowdale Estates. We are they're in our grand closeout there, phase 2. I mean, just phenomenal. Again, Trajansky Builders, Carla Elvord and Sarah Trajansky. And we have some luxury custom homes in North Greenbush with Trajansky Custom Builders represented by Sarah. And Johnstown, Aspen Hills.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That is our modular development with Aspen Hills LLC. JDD LLC is the builder, represented by Dave Ryan.
Woo! That's a long list.
That
is
is our
a lot.
active. That's our active.
Yeah.
So there's so much in the pipeline.
Top builders.
Yeah.
That's really impressive.
Yeah.
What's it like representing new construction versus homes that are already standing? And is there that big of a difference when you're selling, Helen and Lisa?
Well, it's huge because you really do have to be an educated agent when it comes to new construction.
Mm-hmm.
I can bring a client to any of these fabulous builders that are represented by agents of Sterling, but I could not take them through I have clients who are building,
Right.
but I could not take them through all of the steps because it's
a lot.
It's a lot, exactly.
Like,
and,
what's different?
And well, it's
Yeah.
you have a how long is the course where you educate your agents
Extra
to?
education?
Well, it's ongoing.
Right.
So, within Sterling Real Estate Group, we do a lot of new construction. It's not the driving force behind us, but it is a big component. Again,
Right.
we are a full service, real
Right.
estate
Yeah.
company. Our agents are highly trained in new construction, how to sell, the building part of it too, right? So, I would say from the, front of the home site all the way to the back of the home site and everything in between. They're not just selling for the builder. They have to know construction techniques for
Right.
that particular builder.
Got it.
So with our new construction trainer, I'm also on site doing training, Jeff Knox, and we bring the builders in. We'll go to a builder's home that's under construction, and that builder will point out different techniques that they do, right? So now on the selling side, they're very well versed. But if they're representing a buyer, they know what questions that they need to be asking that buyer, feels comfortable. So we're on the sell side, and a lot of people call and say, we want to build new. We need representation. I want one of your agents. We hear you have the #1 new construction team in the Capital District. And we do. And, have you guys heard of the International Builder Show?
No.
No.
Okay, so it goes back and forth from Las Vegas to Florida. One of my new construction agents was asked to speak on that stage at the International
wow.
Builder Show. It is not easy getting,
Yeah.
being asked to get on that stage. I mean, you have to be very well vetted.
That's amazing.
And it was a huge honor for her. And that same agent is actually teaching a course at GCAR on how to represent a buyer in new construction.
What is GCAR for
So
those?
it's Greater Capital Association of Realtors. It's, we're
It's
the,
our
the four of
corporate.
us.
Okay.
Yeah. That's for the rules and regulations. And so the CE credit. And there was one day we were doing a meeting and they were saying, I feel sorry for these buyers. Some agents don't know what to do. And that's okay. They don't. But we want to educate. We're all in this together, right? So the more we can educate other agents in the field, the better everyone will become.
Helen, you say that
Yeah.
all the time
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, without a doubt. It just makes for a better end result. And we're all on
Right.
the same team. And that's, I think it's admirable that, so the agents that you just said who represent the builders at each, they get to know the ins and outs of that builder, the what they do best or what they want to highlight or what designs or whatever it is,
Right.
that they have that inner knowledge that a buyer's agent wouldn't have because
Exactly.
we're
Yeah.
not in a site with a great relationship with a builder day in and day out.
Right.
So
right.
it's a great system.
Yeah, and the GCAR, myself and 2 agents went, her first one, to support her, also to take notes on did she miss something, where could she enhance. It was a 2-hour course. At the end of the 2 hours, it ended. We stayed there for another 2.
Wow.
They kept asking question after, and we're like writing down notes of what was
Wow.
being asked. It is now a 6-hour course.
Are you kidding me? Is it for 6 credits?
It is.
I want to take it. So
It is.
So for those of you who don't know this,
Yeah.
agents, you get your license, and every 2 years, you have to have 22 and a half hours of continuing education credit in order to renew your license.
Right.
Wow.
And so they have a myriad of courses offered, but I would love to take that course.
Yes, I think there's one coming up in December. She had mentioned, so you'll have to
Yay.
look.
I
I'll make
will.
sure to, when I
Okay.
know she's teaching it.
Okay.
But the seats are always full.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And she goes through.
Yeah.
It can't be everything about every builder. It's really the
Yeah.
basics and what the buyer's agent's role is.
Right.
At some point during the transaction, the buyer's agent is going to step out. Only because now you're dealing directly with the designers that, you're picking and personalizing your
Choices.
home. You can have your agent there, some buyers do, but we encourage them, it's not your home, don't weigh in, right?
Right.
If you are asked your opinion, then do. But, I've sat in some, in my lifetime, I don't like white. And the buyer's like, well, that's really what we
That's my
want.
favorite
Right,
shade.
right.
Exactly, so it's
Stay
things
out of the
like
way.
that. Yeah, have to say when you're representing this is your role and
Right.
how to best.
Yeah,
help.
you guys know what
Yeah.
you're doing.
Yeah.
When it comes to new builds, we think of new technology. It's not just within the new homes, it's also within the home building process. So give us a look into that.
So we have a great app that we use for our new construction. It's all encompassing. It takes all the questions away for the buyers. It gives them every detail that they need to know about the models available and the site maps and all the included features. And it stays with them through the entire process. And our agents can monitor the client's behavior and see what they're interested in. So it's a really powerful tool for our clients.
That's amazing.
Did you have that when you built your home?
No.
Same, me neither.
No.
And my home's not even that old.
Yeah, not only that, but I've built one house, and
Same, yeah.
it was, the lack of communication was really,
We hear that a lot.
Yeah.
really
hear it
tough.
a lot, yeah.
And an app where you could follow everything, the
All right
progress.
there.
And our agents can take photos along the way, and so their client can log in at any time and be like, "Oh, there's my basement. It's
Yeah.
all done."
Yeah.
You know, oh, they're
That's
putting
great.
the cabinets in. So
And
That is
also with
great.
that too, if they have a buyer's agent.
Right.
The buyer's agent is they're added in, and they're in through all the communication.
Wow.
So if there's an update on the house.
incredible.
Right. And that's important because some buyer's agents do feel like they're left out.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to be overbearing, but you
Right.
want to be part of it as much as you can without being a pain.
Right.
But I just love that idea. It's great.
Yeah.
I constantly update our apps so that it's always up to date for the clients. They can always see, oh, they're never wondering, is Home Site 5 available? No, I'm always making sure that it's up to date. Included features, if those ever change, with COVID, we had a lot of changes in, what was available. So that information is always up to date for the client.
So, Nicole, what does it look like for you as social media and an agent in what you do with all of this new construction?
So I get the fun opportunity of visiting the new construction sites on a regular basis, so I can help document the progress for our own social media, for our agent's social media. So I'll go out during different phases of construction, taking photos and videos so that I can curate posts and reels that we can share out and let the public know kind of what's going on and what we're working on. And
Nice.
it's actually really fun to be out on a new construction site, although I have worn the wrong shoes many times.
I was just going to say, do you have like hunter boots up to your knees?
I really need to. I've definitely worn flip-flops and white jeans.
Oh, no.
Because I just wasn't planning on going to a new construction site that day or what have you. But so yeah,
She's
I
actually
need
wearing
to-
hunter boots right now, though.
right now. Right.
No,
yeah,
kidding.
wrong occasion. Yeah. So it's cool.
So, can you talk a bit about the significance of social media in real estate, particularly when it comes to new home design? It's got to have a huge impact these days, right?
Yeah, social media is really such a powerful tool for real estate. I think there's two aspects to it. One is the social aspect, which real estate is a very social career, as in social media, feeds into that. And additionally, just the marketing aspect. Again, marketing is very important for real estate. And so there's so many different apps and opportunities out there. I'm sure I could list them all off, but you guys know LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter,
Right.
like all the things. And so, there are people who want to see new construction.
Right.
There are people who are obsessed with looking at finishes and design. And so if we can provide that content, ideally we can get more eyes on our agents, on our builders,
Right.
on our area.
It's part of the sport. I always say
Yeah.
that real estate is a sport because everybody wants to know what their house is worth, what their next design should be, how to update to keep up with the Joneses. And
Yeah.
we're all interested in
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah. People love it.
Yeah.
So
I think people do everything on social media
Yeah.
these days. They consume information for the news. They're checking their health. They're shopping for houses. What do we not do that's on our devices or on social media? So if you're able to tap into, a new market, is that why you hired Nicole and got her involved? Is because you're seeing more of that, Lisa?
Mandy was too busy.
Yeah, it's a whole division in itself.
Mandy does a lot. She's 29 agents are coming to her. I'm coming to her. Jeff is coming to her. Everyone is just, now builders. I could get a call from a builder. Hey, Lisa, I need, and I'm like, builders got to come first. But how do we have that balance with the builder and an agent that also needs something? So, I could see one day where Mandy was, I knew. I mean, I've known Mandy seven years, and I could tell. She was like, okay. And I said, I want you to think about something. If there was one thing I could take off your plate so you could be focused on other things, what would it be? And she came back the next day and she said, if you could get social media off my plate and I can focus on this.
Right.
And so, right? It's a little bit better now, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I can focus on the builders and all their agents, all the agents' needs, and I'm not so focused on getting this property out at that time on social media.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Awesome.
So
That's great.
in came Nicole, and
Yay.
I wanted to make sure we weren't bringing her in just because we needed someone for social media. Believe me, I spoke to a lot of people.
I actually was getting my license. I was taking the course, and so I was vetting local brokerages, and I looked up what are the top brokerages in the area, because who doesn't want to work for a top brokerage?
Right.
And Sterling came up as one of them. I've been in social media marketing and branding for 6 years. So it just kind of made sense
It's a great
to
fit.
combine them.
It's a great fit.
Yeah. And, it allows me to also learn my trade a little bit more, right?
exciting.
They kind of
Big
feed into
time.
each
Perfect
other.
marriage, yeah.
Yeah,
Big time.
absolutely.
So I've worked at different brokerages as well. If somebody was out there who was maybe not so happy at their current brokerage, why should they choose Sterling, even though Nicole here is a great endorsement, right? What is the secret sauce of Sterling?
One word, opportunity. We offer what no other brokerage can offer. One, the new construction component, right? People gravitate
That's
to
big.
us, they just want to come over and be a new construction agent.
Yeah.
They want to be handed, a community. That's not how it works. You have to earn that.
Right.
So you can now, I have agents that I talk to and they're like, Lisa, I don't want to do new construction. Okay. You don't have to. But I also have a lot of agents that say, call me when you have something for me. Doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
You have to come in. We want to see what you're capable of doing, right? And if we think you'll be a good fit for new construction, and I'm very, very honest, I'm not going to tell a potential recruit something they want to hear. I am very, very honest that I can never promise anything, because we do have some builders that go, I only want to continue to work with X. We have to honor that, what the builder wants. But with the opportunity, the other day I sat down with 2 agents and they're getting a small subdivision,
Oh, nice.
and that's a big deal.
That's a
Lots of
very big deal.
For
opportunity.
them. And,
Yeah.
I had to be very clear and be like, you have to, start small. You have to learn it, right? And then you start going out to the bigger communities, and now you're paired up with a very seasoned agent when you get to the 30, 40, 50, home site divisions, or, it's phased out 4, 5, 6 phases. And we do have some of those, that are in the pipeline. Can't really talk too much about it, but there's a lot, in the pipeline. Our land development course. People can say, we teach land development. Jeff Knox teaches land development, right? And it's not just to go out and buy large parcels of land. It's also to help the agents. Helen, you may have a buyer that says, find me land. I want to build a new house, right? You have to know what you're looking at. And a lot of people don't. You have to know, is it buildable? Starting in January, there's all new laws that are coming in, with DEC and wetlands, and that's huge. That is huge for anybody wanting to buy raw land and build, whether it's a single family, some people need land to put 2 homes on it, or us on the development part. It's usually about a 6-week course, and Jeff teaches everything. The one that we I don't even want to say we finished one. It is still ongoing. So the agents who want to do it, we ask, because there's some agents that are like, no, I'm not interested in land development. Okay,
Right.
Not a big deal. Jeff will, go out, how to read the maps. Then he actually takes you out and you walk the land.
Yeah, there's
and
all
what
that
do you look
have to
for?
learn. Yeah.
Septic systems, gas,
Electric.
cable. How much does it cost to put, per foot to put a driveway in? You don't think of these. And now,
No.
you got to go through town approvals. So during the course, he will ask anyone participating, go out and find land, right? And now everything that he's taught them, they have to bring it back to the group, present it, and then Jeff kind of weighs in and it's like, okay, you can't do this, and it's a teaching moment. But the reason why this project or this land development course is still going is because an agent found land.
So wait,
Right?
is that something that happens just for the course's purposes, or are you encouraging your agents who are trained in new home builds representation to go out and find land for builders to build? Is that something that happens?
Do. Yes,
wow, I didn't know that.
Right? Because
That's impressive.
there's only so much land. But
Right.
yeah,
Right.
you know, the development arm does a lot.
Wow.
But in you don't know who you're talking to.
Right.
You know, you may have a neighbor, Helen, that
Exactly.
says,
I was just going to say.
you know, they have a farm or
Yeah.
they just have a lot of land and they're like, you know what?
I don't feel like dealing with it.
We don't want to do it anymore.
Right.
And if you're in a position and you know about land, that's your perfect opportunity. And even if you're not well versed in land, they know, call me or we're getting Jeff on the phone right away.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And in fact, I would say a couple weeks ago, somebody called the office and said, your name has come up. I have a lot of land I want to get rid of. They live in California. And during the course of the conversation, this particular owner had said to Jeff, do you know how many brokerages I called and not one person could answer a simple question?
Wow.
Wow.
So, you know, and you know, he was
It's a
very
niche.
impressed of what Jeff knows. And I mean, Nicole, you're in that course. I believe you were going through some town approvals.
I was invited to sit in on that meeting actually, and I learned so much just from hearing Jeff speak to this, you know, the person who reached out. And it's just a wealth of knowledge that I have access to because I've expressed interest in doing the land development piece. So it's very cool. Yeah.
So you don't have to take it, but that is, you know, again, opportunity.
Right.
You know, if you bring a piece of land to the New York Development Group, you do have first right of refusal to be the site rep. You know, and that's where we have to kind of step in and say to the builder, listen, you wouldn't have this if so-and-so didn't bring it to us.
Right.
So we highly encourage you to, you know, they may say, fine, team them up with my other agent. You know, those are things that we have to deal with. But, you know, our model works very well.
I recently have been searching for land, and I found a piece of land that seemed like a great fit. And when I went to the county for, you know, some more information and figuring out what the approval process is to build and everything like that, we discovered that in order to build on that site, we would actually need to build the road to get there.
Oh, so it's about access too.
Yes, it's about access too. So building the road, I think we guessed was about $1,000 a foot or something. So all of a sudden what seemed like a great deal on a piece of land became a very expensive and time-consuming project that we're like, no, this isn't worth it.
I never,
So-
as you know, somebody who's again not involved in the professional aspect of real estate, like I never knew this much was involved, especially in new construction. I mean, I'm impressed. I'm very impressed.
Yeah, it's a lot. And, you know, we pride ourselves on training that we provide. You know, and it's not only land development and new construction. I myself have a real estate coach, you know, to help me on the brokerage level, you know, because there's all different things changing.
Absolutely.
But my agents also have the same real estate coach that we provide.
Nice.
A lot of agents have to pay for their own real estate coach, and it's very, very expensive. That's something we provide. He's available, you know, on Mondays. He does coaching Wednesdays and Fridays. And actually on Fridays, he brings in people from around the country to do a podcast. You can jump on the call.
Podcasts are very good for
Yeah.
real estate.
Yes.
You didn't know that?
Yeah. You can jump on the call for training. It's a private Facebook group, so it'll always record.
Right.
So if you can't get there, but there's also the coaching platform that you have access to. There's a 20-week intensive. I mean, I've gone on there and I was like, oh, all right, let me learn from that. And there's like little bits and pieces of homework you need to do. And it's not the same thing that you hear week after week. It's always something different, you know, and that's huge. Some agents embrace it. Some, you know, I can't make them, but they know when you come to Sterling, you are going to get a different level of training.
Knowing those opportunities are there instead of just being kind of untethered and is, especially in this really tough time in the industry, is part of the magic.
Yeah.
Part of the magic.
Well, and Saratoga is an extremely competitive market in real estate. You talk about that all the time, Helen. I mean, what do you think makes Sterling so successful? And maybe this is a question for Mandy in marketing, but like, what's your secret sauce? I know you don't want to give it all away because it's your secret sauce, but what do you think makes you guys stand out to the public? We talked about what is, why it's so good to be an agent working under your wing.
So we do everything custom at Sterling. We will do anything custom for our team because marketing is important to get, and the clients want to see their property out there. They want to see that you care enough to get, to do the work to sell their homes. So, custom marketing is important. We do a lot of search engine optimization constantly. We're constantly looking at analytics to make sure that we're on top. We're being found out there for all the great services that we provide.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And, I want to touch base, if you don't mind. Yeah. When Mandy talked about doing the custom marketing packages, Mandy's creating logos, right? So, we are starting from scratch, and that is that custom component. So when you see, Avalon Ridge, right? The builder has their logo, but now Mandy, has to get creative and brand Avalon Ridge with their own logo. And then the marketing packets start to get created around different colors. And,
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
I always kind of just figured it was part of, I don't know. I know that somebody does it, but I kind of just figured it happens. You don't really think how involved it is. So,
it could either be, excuse the term, half-assed, or it could be have a professional who is doing that for every property that you guys represent, whether it's new construction or a resale, and not everybody does that. Right?
I try to be very detail oriented to make sure all the details are out there. I can't tell you how many emails I get about, there's an open house this weekend at so and so. Well, what town is it in?
Right.
What's the price point? We need to provide all the details so everybody has all the information they need.
Yeah. We tell our agents, if you want to go ahead and do your own marketing piece, go ahead. But they really don't have to. That's what marketing provides for them. So they're not bogged down.
Yeah.
But they do have to run it by Mandy if they do create something on their own. And, it's because we work so hard on branding, and one bad post, social media,
I know,
something that goes out there really can ruin it. And it could ruin that agent's,
And it's regulated. We have compliance for advertising in real estate. And if you don't know that, you could be in some big trouble.
Yeah.
What are some do's and don'ts when it comes to marketing for Sterling? Like, if someone comes to you saying, I have this great idea, I want to market it, I'm going to do all this, what do you make sure, what boxes do you make sure it checks off?
I have a whole checklist of things. No, you are not allowed to say that. And this needs to be on there, and you need to have the C in front of your cell phone number, the minuscule details.
Right.
I check over to make sure all those details were in compliance, because we don't want to get a call from the state and say, you're not in compliance.
Right. My door is always open. I'm the good, the bad, the ugly. We want to hear it.
Right.
At our last agent meeting, Nicole had run something by me. Hey, do you think the agents would like this? And I laughed. And I was like, I don't think so, just because I know of what kind, the personalities. I said, but if you want to roll it out, go ahead.
Did you?
Did
you roll it out?
I asked.
She asked.
You asked.
I asked.
Yeah.
And did it take
was
off,
crickets.
or did it?
It was
Yes.
Yeah, no one wanted.
You don't
She still
ask?
gave you a shot.
But you know what? Nicole being new in the industry, right? It was a creative thought, and you have to bring it out there. I will never shove something down my agent's throat that I know they don't want.
Right,
But
right.
being an agent in the field,
Right.
I knew it probably wasn't going to go over well. But it doesn't mean Nicole's not going to revisit it down the road,
Well, and
because
fresh
it was something really nice. It was a great,
Right.
It was a great idea.
And fresh perspective is everything, too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We get very comfortable in our daily sales careers, if you
Right.
will, and having somebody come up with an idea. Oh, wait a minute. Never thought of that.
Yeah.
Maybe I like it, maybe I don't, but it's still, it is refreshing. So Sterling has been around in the community all the way from Wilton all the way down to East Greenbush and Johnstown.
Yeah, even
What-
further south. North.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Even further south. So what kind of community involvements do you guys take care of?
So we're very involved in our community. All of our agents love to give back, and that's from, a lot of our agents are in the East Greenbush area, and then some of us are in Ballston Spa. So we have a wide stretch of communities that we reach out to. One of our biggest events that we do every year, this is our 4th year of running our Holiday Heroes food drive.
Oh, great.
So for the past 4 years, we tie it together with our customer appreciation event. For about a month-long event, we ask people to donate non-perishable, non-expired food items or personal care items, because the organizations that we donate to, they have a very big need for that, shampoos and deodorants as well. So this year we are collecting and we are giving our donations to LifeWorks in Ballston Spa and also the Veterans Housing Coalition.
Why is it so important for a real estate group to have such reach in a community? I mean, it almost sounds kind of obvious, but really, I mean, that's like the crux of your work, right? I mean,
it is. It's important to give back to the communities we do business. It's also part of our core values. So everything we do, every day, every interaction, all goes back to our core values. Jeff, they may kill me for saying this, but we'll take our chances. Jeff do a lot that they don't want us to talk about. That is what they do.
That's great.
They are very, very giving people. Sometimes you can write a check to help, but they're boots on the ground, actually doing labor and doing things and helping people. So you want to support the communities that you're in.
And it also makes your clients feel good.
Yeah.
It's not just, it's such a great thing to veterans, homeless, you name it, all of these great charities that we support in community centers. But it also makes your clients feel good that they're supporting an organization that's supporting the community.
And also supporting our agents is something you're passionate about, right? Where do you donate? Where do you give your time? I'm a cancer survivor, so it's important to give back. That's my charity, right, that I want to do. Sarah Chodransky just ran the New York City Marathon.
I've heard that story. That's a beautiful story.
With her son. Right? So not only did I donate to it, the company donated.
Yeah.
Right? So we were there to support her and cheer her on. It's just, you have to invest in your people. And if you don't, they're not seen as part of the team. And and that's really what we try to do as part of the team. And there's some other things that we do that, Mandy will touch on later and that have been wildly successful.
Behind all the employees, behind all the buyers, behind all the sellers, builders, you name it.
Yeah.
There's people with real problems.
Right.
And real things to celebrate too. So I think that's beautiful. And it's also nice to hear, whether Jeff wants to hear it or not, that it's for the right reasons, not just for the clout.
Yeah. What they do is with them. What we do is Sterling Real Estate Group and our agents. That's our group. That's what we push out there.
It becomes ingrained in the culture when you see that your leadership is so giving. It invites you to participate in that as well, and it just expands the impact that we have, especially when we come together. So it's taking our community and making sure that we are reaching out to the community around us.
Lead by example.
Lead by example, exactly.
And it makes you feel good.
It does.
It makes you feel good. Absolutely. We're all very lucky. You could always find somebody who has less, and it helps you feel good. Helps you feel good.
So all of our agents have an organization or a foundation that they're passionate about. So we give back to local schools. There's different foundations for people that have lost a loved one. So we give back to those. A few years ago, we invited our followers to make the suggestion, where would you like us to donate to for Giving Tuesday? So we try to touch a lot of us, we have a lot of dog lovers and pet lovers in our agency. So we love giving back to the animal shelters. So we try to not just give back in one area. We try to, spread the love all over.
So also, with our community involvement, we have Holiday Heroes going on right now. Please, if anybody wants to donate, even a can, a bottle of shampoo, every donation matters. And you can drop those right off at Sterling Real Estate Group at 1487 Saratoga Road in Ballston Spa. Giving Tuesday. So we did, as Mandy had touched base on, we go out to our social media base and say, hey, who do you guys want to see us to give to? And then
that's nice.
Sometimes we, put them all, in a hat, we pull the name out, and then we call that organization, but we invite the organization in. And we do a video so they can talk about their organization and why it matters.
That's great.
So, those are things that matter. Helen, I think I've been on the, Saratoga Showcase of Homes co-chair for 19 years. Last year I did step off just because I knew all the changes in the real estate market that were coming. I need to be very focused on the real estate company and our builders. So I'm back. We'll start planning.
Shouldn't leave for long. Couldn't stay away that long.
Yeah, and I missed it. You truly missed it. But how much money we raise for Habitat for Humanity and Rebuilding Together Saratoga.
So good.
It is amazing. And you hear firsthand, always at our awards night, we have people that come up and talk and how they were impacted by what we were able to give back. So it's just a big, kind of community focused. So
Well, to actually have your impact be tangible, too.
Oh, yeah. Habitat for Humanity is so amazing. I volunteered once.
Women's Build?
Nope, it was a hunt. We were invited to. Of us were up on a roof. I couldn't
You were on a
believe.
roof, Helen?
No, I said no. I stayed down below painting and sanding and.
It's humbling.
And, it was very humbling and very worthwhile. And we went back to see it almost done. And it's very powerful.
That's why you have to, we're firm believers. You have to give back to the communities in which we do business.
Right.
It's just the right thing to do.
It is. So are there any other points you'd like to mention if an agent is out there who's considering a change of brokerages?
Yes. So I'm a non-competing broker, which I think is important.
What does that mean?
You need to explain.
Yeah. So let's say a
For
lead
me.
call, a lead call comes into the office. I don't take the leads. I'm not competing with my agents. Part of the deal when I came to Sterling, the two owners said, we don't want you to compete with the agents. Are you okay with that? And I said, I'm 100% on board because I've been in that situation. So, I've been doing this for so long. I have clients that call. And I have to tell them, listen, I am managing a brokerage. I cannot give you 100% of my time, but I let them know. And I go through, I can give it to one of my agents. Some go, no, it's either you or nothing. And I say, okay, but just understand, I cannot give you 100%. They're okay with that. Or I give them the option, I can team up with one of my agents. So, that's important that agents know when leads are coming in that are not on their listing, I'm round robbing, robbing them out. And another important part to mention is we are not corporate. And that is huge for us because I can make a decision on the fly. I don't need to run it up the corporate ladder. There's a few things, where I'm like, let me get back to you in a little bit. I got, I want to run that by Jeff.
Right.
But Jeff and Jeff have pretty much given me free reign to, I can make those decisions and we can customize, right? Because we are independently owned. And that's huge.
Yeah. Well, and you seem so big on the scale of real estate brokerages locally, but to know that you still have very, very small business ethics and a small business model, that's really good to hear from a buyer's perspective or seller's perspective.
We like to say we're small but mighty with a big heart.
Oh, I love that.
And that's really one of our taglines.
That's
nice. Last year we ranked number 9 out of all the brokerages, one office.
Surprising.
One office, 29 agents.
In Saratoga, in New York,
The whole Capital District under GCAR. So, there were a couple independently owned brokerages ahead of us, not by much, but ahead. And you're dealing with a lot of the corporate brokers that have 5, 10, 15 offices, so ranking number 9 was a huge deal. And when I first started with Jeff, he said, "What's your goal?" I said, "I want to be in the top 10 by year 5."
Wow.
And we did it.
Yeah.
We did it. So
How many brokerages are there? Is it something like 300?
licensed, I think it was 887. We did a broker manager meeting with GCAR.
Okay.
And they give out those numbers.
Wow.
So, but some are just not active. It could be, someone who holds,
a
just
single
their
person.
own. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's
Yeah.
respectable. So, Lisa, what is next for Sterling? What kind of future plans do you guys have to keep this amazing growth going?
I touched base on it earlier. We're in the modular business now. Not us
so
particularly.
exciting.
It's an arm of the business.
It's an arm of the business.
Jeff Knox purchased Bill Lake Modular Homes.
Okay.
Yes. So
Can he come on the podcast?
Yeah, I've already mentioned it to him.
Okay.
So when you talked about affordable housing, right?
Yeah.
We can do that with the modular component. He's working a lot, and I don't want to say too much, for them, but they are working with Habitat with Humanity.
exciting.
Beautiful.
And they're all over New York State, and people, officials in New York State are calling him. Because they know what he can do. Bill Lake is one of 2 modular home companies in New York State. We had the opportunity to tour and see how the modulars are built. And I got to tell you, it was incredible from the very beginning, even of how the wood comes in, how they're sending wood back.
Wow.
It's all built in a controlled environment. And we got to see, the framing and then the electrical and plumbing down the line. And then, the next piece where they're sheetrocking and the next piece where the kitchens and baths are going in, right down to the end of the line of, finished product.
I think it's important to note that, so I know people who are doing modular home builds right now. Well, they're not building, excuse me. They're purchasing a modular home. Okay. And when I initially heard that, especially before speaking with you, Lisa, like a trailer came to mind, or just, something very simple. That's not at all what this is.
No.
These are beautiful, handmade, these are they're beautiful.
Yeah, I'll touch base just a little because I
you don't want to speak for him, right?
Yeah. And Jeff and and their team will come in, but modular homes are built in a controlled environment. They're all built inside, away from all the elements. And that's why they're called modular, because if you're buying a ranch, it's going to be 2 pieces coming in. And they marry the walls together. If you're doing a colonial, it's typically 4 boxes that are coming in.
They can make colonial modular homes?
Oh, you can make any style home.
Yeah, we are doing townhomes, condos, multifamily apartments.
Yeah.
So we have a new program that we're introducing, and again, here's the opportunity for Sterling agents. We don't have the official name yet. Mandy and I, keep throwing names out there. We do know our tagline is a new beginning, a sterling finish. We do know that, right?
Very nice.
So to provide affordability to people, new construction, you're going to get in 500 and up. Some of our, homes are $1 million plus. Meadowdale, you can get it in the mid 4s, but that may not even be affordable.
Right.
So Jeff went out and designed 2 homes, right? A ranch and a cape. And he bought everything in bulk and was able to drive down the price. So that is going to be, we're going to have a bunch of investor groups that will just work with my Sterling agents. And we will provide the investor with the land, the financing, the product, and all the marketing. And the builder, once it's delivered, the builder will, put this together and the listing comes to one of our agents. Right. So now we're creating listings to our agents. Amazing. With that, the agent can also jump in on it. And Jeff will provide the land as the investment. Wow. Jeff wants people to, you got to build your future, and you got to think about retirement, and you got to think of what's ahead. And that's why Alati does the land development. And he's given this opportunity just to Sterling agents. I'm excited. My husband and I jumped right in on it.
Yeah.
So I think, Nicole,
Yeah. I have an opportunity as well.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
I think that hearing all of this, I think when you are on a real estate podcast or when you work in real estate, you're hearing all these stories about what's part of the American dream, and it's home ownership, right? And I think a lot of millennials and Gen Z in particular are wondering, will I ever attain this American dream? Will I ever be able to have this be part of it? Is it dead? And it sounds like this might allow it to be possible. And this is really one of the first times sitting at our table that I'm able to really bring information, or we're able to bring information to people about, hey, you could do this, like, and it could be new. It could be a brand new one. That's exciting.
Yeah, we just rolled out one listing with this particular, plan that he's doing, $269.9. 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths.
Yep.
Wow.
That is affordable, right?
That is affordable.
That is affordable.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So that's what we're trying now. Of course, it's dependent on the land and where you are.
Location.
But we're trying to bring in that product affordability so people can have the
beautiful.
American dream.
Nice.
And then also in our future, statewide expansion.
Oh.
We are looking into other areas because they're, through now the other arm, that we have other than development, now we have the other arm of the modular. And there's areas,
North,
that's
south, east, west,
all over.
West?
All over.
Wow. Okay.
I know Jeff said the other day, he was, Long Island, Syracuse, Utica, and he's like, you're going to be doing a lot of traveling. So my role then will probably change out of managing broker to probably general manager, because I'll have to oversee, all of those offices. That's future.
Right.
Is there still land on Long Island? Well, I know out east, but where?
You'd be surprised, if there's tear down homes.
Yeah, because they're starting to get old.
Yeah. And then
awesome.
There's what Jeff calls, and maybe this is the official term, I don't know, but zombie lots, which are essentially those really small pieces of land that don't seem saleable, but the modular fits on it. And so now it becomes attainable for a home site. So
this is a
that's
great
all over.
conversation all around for people who are looking to get into home ownership and didn't think it was possible. Thank you so much for bringing that to us, Lisa.
You're
Nicole.
welcome. And, just kind of finish it up, what's the future hold? We have a ton in the pipeline. There's so much in the pipeline. Unfortunately, right now I can't speak about it. Things have to go through approvals and the whole bit. But it's just, it's exciting. There's no boring day. I have to tell you, I was a little nervous, as everybody should be.
Absolutely.
Very relaxed, very comfortable.
Yeah.
So you just gotta, I tell my agents, and to me too, you have to get uncomfortable before you become comfortable.
Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Is what I tell people when I give them media coaching.
Yep.
Get comfortable being uncomfortable, because guess what? Life isn't perfect.
Right.
And the more you allow yourself to kind of step outside of your comfort zone, the more comfortable you become in other areas that you weren't comfortable in before. So it's just retraining your brain to.
Right.
It's a learning experience.
Yeah, it's a learning experience.
All right, time now for our real estate horror story. And Lisa's got like a legitimate haunted horror story.
Okay.
Not real horror, but it truly did. Now,
Okay.
I believe in, the orbs and the whole bit.
Right, okay.
So
You're into it.
a good friend of mine was going through a divorce, needed a home. And it was actually in the neighborhood that I grew up in. So we went in to see the house, and he had his camera. He wanted to film, and he had a cup of coffee in his hand.
Okay.
And it was a raised ranch. And I'm walking up the stairs, and it was bam on my back. And I'm like, why did you hit me? And he's like,
Oh my God.
what are you talking about? I'm like, you just hit me in the back. And he's like, Lisa.
No.
And I looked at him, he goes, we're out of here. I mean, we could not get out of that house fast enough.
Where was this? This was
In Saratoga.
What?
I've heard Saratoga is
And
very
in the
haunted.
neighborhood I grew up in, 2 houses down from where my best friend grew up, her mother was still there.
God.
I called the listing agent and I said, I got to tell you what happened at your listing. She goes, you're not the first person.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That ghost did not want people in that house.
Yeah.
So
Got
that's
chills.
Me too.
Hair
I
standing up, like,
one of the farms that my agent had listed. We had sent out a home stager, and she, again believes in that. And then she called me and said, "Lisa, thank you for the opportunity, but I don't feel comfortable going there." And I'm like, "Why?" She goes, "I just sense that there's
The energy is-
something there. And I said, I kind of felt that when I was there.
Wow.
You just kind of have a feeling.
Yeah.
Beautiful farm. Absolutely stunning.
Wow.
So we actually hired a cleaner to go in and rid the house.
Okay.
And this cleaner gets to the kitchen,
Oh, God.
opens up the oven, and starts screaming to get out of the house.
Oh, no.
In the oven.
Oh, no.
Because that's where
Oh
that's,
my gosh.
I have chills talking about it.
I have chills
What was
again.
in the oven?
Just the spiritual energy.
Yeah,
right?
for that energy that everybody was feeling. I had to tell you, when I went back, it was a level of calmness.
Wow.
And there's just some, now whether you believe or not, that's
Right.
okay. But,
Right.
I still have chills,
Right.
to this day. We see everything. Nothing shocks us anymore.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Sterling Real Estate Group. What a great morning we've had. Thank
I
you.
know,
for
and
coming.
Mandy had to leave a little bit early because she had to do her very important marketing
Yes.
work. As we discussed, it's one of the most important arms of your work. So
Yeah. And thank you for inviting us. This
Yeah.
is
Oh my
this
gosh,
has really
this
been
is
great. I
fun.
feel like we could sit here all day and
Yeah.
chat.
that's what we always say, right? Oh my
true.
gosh, we have incredible
true.
guests,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I can't wait to have you back, Lisa. I'm holding you to that promise.
All right, I'll do it.
I want to hear about the modular homes.
That I'm
in
going to turn over
particular.
to Jeff Knox and his team. That's
Okay.
and I did mention it, and I think when they're ready and to roll it out,
Okay.
Right.
to more people and
Awesome. Great.
yeah.
All right, everybody.
Thanks
right.
so much for
Thank you
listening.
so much.
If you want to check out more on Sterling Real Estate, go to their website.
Yep. Sterling518.com.
Check out their social media at.
Sterling 518 on Instagram and Facebook.
If you have a story idea, real estate horror story, you want to be on the show, email us at sellingsaratogapod@gmail.com or just message us on Instagram as well. All right, thanks so much for listening, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.